quickly explain what the success track is, and then I have some questions on that. But would you explain that for us?
Yeah. So the American Enterprise Institute, I believe, is the ones who kind of coined this term, the success sequence, which is basically graduate from high school, work full time, and get married and have children in wedlock, basically in that order. And 97% of the millennial generation that has done those three things in that order live above the poverty line in America. And so basically the thesis there is that it does seem that people who are staying on that kind of success sequence are more likely to be churched, and the people who get off of that success sequence, it's become more challenging for them. Now, this is different than I think what we've seen in Europe. You typically basic secularization thesis is that the higher the GDP of the country, the less religious that country becomes. America, according to sociologists, is stubbornly religious. And when you look at the GDP versus religiosity graph, it's like America is this weird outlier, just this point sitting out and floating in the air, and the rest of Europe's way below us and on that map. But we think what's going on there is that if most of the reasons why people stopped going to church were very pragmatic reasons, and I'll unpack that in a minute of what I mean by very pragmatic reasons, and they were things that were surrounding things that pertain to when people had disruptions in life. So the top three reasons why people dechurched were: number one, I moved; number two, attendance was inconvenient; and number three, some kind of family change, marriage, divorce, remarriage, the birth of a child. So if those were the top three reasons why people dechurched, then it stands to reason that if you are not a member of the middle or upper middle class, then those life situations would hit you harder if you had less financial margin, or if you were a single parent, or you kind of in some way, shape, or form, and look, it's no big secret, birds of a feather flock together, especially in the digital age. We have algorithms that help us, flock together more than not. And so, it only makes sense that, those who would have more cultural distance to a local church are going to have a harder time being able to, to stick in. And that's something that, if you're listening to this and you're clergy or you work in ministry, we've got to be cognizant of people who are around us who have more cultural distance than the center of mass of our congregations. And we have to live in a way that helps everybody in our communities have a missional encounter with this gospel that we're, trying to both proclaim and demonstrate in our communities.